All right. I was asked about a missionary trip I went on um, very recently, and I'm answering and I'm sharing about that trip, the experience. I felt led by the Lord to do it. I obeyed, and it was a very cool experience. Um, some of the money spent on that trip and on the flight was my money. Some of it was the money of friends and family who donated toward the trip. Um, so when I say I bought beds, technically you could say we bought beds. So I'm saying I because I catalyzed it, I arranged it, but obviously, I mean, you could also say the Lord bought beds through my vessel. It's like we don't need to get too into semantics, but the main thing is try not to get too grieved about thinking I'm bragging by sharing that I went on a missionary trip. It's not my intention to get praise from men. I want to please God and I want to obey God. So that's not my intention. That was never my intention. Um, and so it's almost like you're going to have people that are detractors that criticize you anytime you say anything you did for the Lord, even if it's for the purpose of just testifying to encourage others to be willing to obey the Lord and just sharing the adventures the Lord takes you on in general with the intention of bringing God glory or bringing some various lessons that God taught you to the table. We share. Um, so yeah, sometimes somebody could be sharing just to gain praise from man. That's not my motive here. So I just wanted to add that disclaimer. How's work on the robot going? Utterly non-existent the past 4 months because after my sister died 4 months ago, I completely changed my life. Um, to be like way more religious. Also, um, to be way more loving and putting people first, being less selfish. And so I started volunteering like 30 hours a week, helping people for free. All right, so here again, I'm sharing that I was going through a season where I was volunteering 30 hours a week to help people for free, and someone could take that as, see, he's boasting. The Bible says if we boast in the Lord. So if the Lord was leading me to do that, I boast in the Lord. It wasn't because of my own self-righteousness. I was just obeying the Lord's guidance. And I share that because people ask where I've been. My intention to share it is not, oh, look at me, I'm doing all these things for the Lord. That was not my intention. Although somebody could read that into it because they are out to get me and they're an enemy. Also, when you share things you're doing for the Lord, that could spur on others to also moving with the Holy Spirit and obeying the Lord by sharing the things the Lord is doing through you. Um, but I agree that you have to be careful to not make it too much of a focus of bringing up all the various things you do for the Lord on a regular basis. It should be the exception to the rule for sure, and it should be something that perhaps a leader does who's calling on others to follow their example. But not necessarily everybody, whether they're a leader or not, just always is talking about all the things they're doing for the Lord. That could become something that can corrupt because it could be done to seek the praises of man. So, as a general rule, I'd say unless if you're in a leadership position, you really should be quiet about it for the most part, unless if you feel led to share as an exception to the rule. And then same thing for leaders, but it's more understandable, I think, for a leader to share a little more of what the Lord's been doing through them for the purpose of leading by example. Um, but you have to be very careful to make sure your motives each time you share are not to gain praise from man. Because if you do that, the Lord's going to be unhappy with that. That's very bad. As a way to um, kind of give back to the world for all the years I was selfish and just working on my own projects, not really caring for others. And during those years, losing opportunity to be there for my sister as her big brother to encourage her, which ultimately led to her suicide. Um, in part because without having a big brother there for you and also having a hard life, that's part of it. Like I played a role in her ending her life. So there's guilt there. And so it's kind of like my penance is to try to be better for the next person that's suffering that I know. And so a lot of my projects have taken a back seat to that like penance process, which I hope is for life because everyone really likes the new me where I'm like putting others first, helping all these people. I just got back from Africa for 2 weeks where I was just giving money to people in prison, getting them beds and stuff. They were sleeping on concrete with no blanket. So I got beds and blankets for 100 prisoners. I bought toothpaste and toothbrushes for 100 prisoners. I bought coffee cups for them. And soap, like 10 bars each for 100 prisoners. So, because they had no access to soap. So, that, and then I bought a church there that had no air conditioning, and the church is like 100 degrees all year round. I bought them fans for the church. And the pastor of that church had no running water in his home, so I paid a plumber to run water lines to the pastor's house so he has running water, and also to install a hot water shower so they can take hot showers. And I also paid for fans for his house, which is like 100 degrees all year round, so they can have a little breeze. Did I get to see them get the stuff? Yeah, I have pictures of me handing it out. I can show some pictures of me with the prisoners handing stuff out right now, just to show you guys I'm not making it up. Oh, I also fed hundreds of little kids at an orphanage too. I guess I could start with that. Here's a picture. This is me right here, handing out food and stuff to the little kids. Here's one of the little kids here. Some of these are the caretakers that watch the kids. I'm there. Let's see. Here we are passing out food. And it's near the equator, so I was getting bad sunburn. So here you can see I put my shirt over my head. Here's the little kids with their plates of food. I'm pouring out, this is a huge tub of like fruit juice we bought. We put it all in this huge pot, and then I'm scooping it up with a Kool-Aid container and dumping it into their individual cups so that they don't put their hands in it and contaminate it, because they don't exactly use soap after using the bathroom, so everything's pretty unsanitary there because nobody washes their hands. They really don't understand the concept of germs there, so it's pretty gross. Yeah, here's me getting ready with my pouring of the Kool-Aid. Here's a picture of the supplies I bought. There's like cookies, blankets. This is all blankets. Here's the coffee cups for all the prisoners. Here's the toothpaste. Oh, we even got lotion. I forgot about that. Lotion, plates, and bowls. Over here's the toothbrushes. More coffee cups. These were the boxes of soap. This is either blankets or soap. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think it's more blankets, just in a white bag. And then I have a picture of me handing this stuff out at the prison. Um, so here's all the mattresses we bought. And these are the prison guards. Here's me. Here's the prisoners. In their cliched prison outfits. Looks like the stripes you'd see in like a Disney cartoon, or yeah, like in a Disney cartoon. We don't actually have stripes like that in most countries, but they actually wear those stripes. That's old school. Here's some more mattresses. The guy in the suit is the pastor that I went with. I think he he overdresses a little bit, but whatever. He's quite a character. It's not like he's so egotistical he has to dress like some kind of mob boss. He's just kind of silly. He's a silly guy. That's why he's doing it. It looks like he's egotistical, dressing so overdressed like that, but that's just, I don't know. I don't think, I personally, you guys saw I dressed just more casual, but whatever. Don't judge the guy. He's a really nice guy. And he sends $550 a month to Africa to help like starving children and build orphanages and feed people and stuff. So like his heart's really good. Here's me again, and I'm kind of hidden in the picture, and this is the pastor I went with, and here's more of the prisoners. This is like their prison yard. You can see the fence back here, and it's barbed wire, and you can see like one of their barracks that they sleep in or whatever. And this is like all these prisoners, and I'm in there among them. At first I was scared going in there, but it wasn't that bad. I actually talked for 10 minutes. I told them my testimony about my sister dying and how I want to help people now, and I care about people, and I can't be a big brother for my sister anymore, but I can be a big brother for other people who are in need. So I'm going to do that. And they really liked it. They're clapping and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got. Feeding orphans and helping prisoners. People that are less fortunate, people in need. This is me on the plane on the way there with my new friend I made. This guy is from Nigeria, and he's a lawyer. And the question is he a Nigerian scammer or not? Alright, here's evidence of how silly / fun this pastor is that I went with. Look at this. He's crazy. I'm way more shy than he is. Look, he's actually dancing. Like, I would never do that. I was so shy. We're the only white people. I'm not gonna dance. Like, it's so embarrassing just being white when you're being stared at for being white, let alone start dancing. I would not do that. I don't know how he does that. I was like wanting to hide, let alone dance in front of all these people staring at you. They already think you're an oddity in their country, and then to dance, especially when black people are such better dancers than white people, almost without exception. I mean, that's not even a stereotype. That's just a fact. I saw little kids dancing better than I could ever dance, and they're like 5. So when they see a white person dancing, they're all rolling their eyes like, this guy doesn't know how to do it. This guy was drunk and he was just walking out. He got in trouble. There were actual professional dancers dancing within that circle of people, and he was about to interfere because he was drunk. He was walking out from the crowd into the center area where the professionals were working, so they had to grab him and escort him out because he could have interfered with their dance routine. He looks like a drug kingpin. I know. Okay, let me read some of the chat. I was not reading it all. What part of Africa? It's Kenya, Africa. And the biggest way I hope to help out there is by setting up workshops, sweatshops, where I'll have them make my robot and my inventions and stuff. And you only have to pay them $4 a day, and they'll be super happy. That's what they'd make if they were working full-time at a hardware store or a hotel or as a restaurant waiter. So it's really good money to them. And I could afford to employ a lot of people if I only have to pay them $4 per day, as long as they make enough products that I can sell to support paying them that, which should be pretty easy. Then I can sustain that with the product, with the sales money I get from selling the stuff they're making. And then with the additional profits left over, I can expand so that I can hire more people and scale it, and also support my own family too, because I'm going to have to do work myself, organizing all of this, overseeing all of this, actually setting up the sales channels and the distribution network if it comes to that, where I start having the orders fulfilled by a fulfillment center instead of from my house, so I don't have to have products filling my house. Stuff like that. Is it an ego thing that he's in the suit? It could be. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. He seems like a really nice guy, but you never know if there could be some hidden ego in there. Are there richer communities around there? Actually, no. Well, wait, I take that back. There were some decent houses in some areas kind of hidden away. I believe those... Yeah, so like, in any African country, you're going to have a handful of people that do get kind of richer, but they'd still be like not that rich compared to America. Like, so there might be like 10,000 people in Kenya, Africa that have $500,000 in their bank. But the number of Americans that have $500,000 is millions and millions and millions, because people have that much in their 401ks for retirement. But the difference is, if you have $500,000 in Kenya, that's like having 10 million in the US, because the money buys so much more, because everything is so cheap there. But the funny thing is, some things are not cheaper there, like cars. And that threw me off. This one person I was working with on Upwork.com was from Pakistan. And I was trying to understand the buying power differences between America and Pakistan. So I figured, okay, in America you can buy a used car for $10,000. In Pakistan, surely you could buy a used car for what, like $40? But no, they said it'd be $10,000. I was like, wait, that's the same as America. It's because there's hardly any cars in a country like Pakistan, and the ones that are there were imported, and they're such a rarity that they still cost a huge amount of money because nobody really buys them there. So you have to ask, how much does... I think a great comparison metric would be... Also, gasoline is about the same. It's maybe 30% less than America. The best thing to compare would be how much for a bottle of soda. In America, they'd be like $1.20. There, it'd be like 25 cents. So it's like a fifth. But there's stuff even cheaper than that, actually. It goes, like, there's stuff like, I don't know, rice, maybe? I don't know. It's hard. No, the best way, maybe, is to, like, find out what people make per month. So asking the lady at the hotel, the lady at the grocery store, or the guy that works full-time at the hardware store what they make per month, that was a great way to see the difference. Or a cab ride was 50 cents. That's maybe a good way to check. A cab ride in America is like $15 maybe minimum, I don't know. Did I go on a safari? No. Did I see tribal people? No. It was more like just kind of ghetto. There was no tribal people near any main road. If I wanted to see tribal people, I would have had to go on dirt roads for maybe dozens of miles off the main highways until I find a tribal people out in the wilderness. I never did that. All of the stuff we did was kind of more in let's see, you have suburbs, cities, and then you have urban areas, then you have suburban, then you have rural. We were in urban areas / suburban areas, maybe. Never in rural areas. Except when we were traveling between one city and another, then maybe that would be rural-ish. Were the girls trying to sleep with me and marry me? Well, I would say one girl, I think, was. But that was only the first week I was there, and then we went to a different city, and she was gone then. She remained in the other city. I didn't have anybody else really that aggressively trying to get my attention, seduce me, whatever, except the one girl. I had girls kind of checking me out, but that's the same as America. Like, I'll have girls check me out a little bit here and there, but it was different. I haven't had a girl like really try to seduce me. Are these prisoners murderers? No. This particular prison was a minimum security, 3 to 5 year maximum sentence prison. So it was a lot safer than a prison that has murderers and stuff. So it was more like a jail than a prison.
Do you know why they were there for, though?
They said that the majority of the prisoners were there for petty theft or being in Kenya from Tanzania or neighboring countries without papers. So they basically were illegally immigrating, maybe to sell products or to buy something and then go back without the proper paperwork. Or car theft, grand theft auto, they said it was a big one. Not necessarily, well, maybe cars, maybe actual cars. There were cars there, or like a motorcycle or whatever they're stealing. That was a big one. Which is all the more reason to make sure they have beds. If they're like hardened criminals, murderers, into human trafficking and stuff, like, let them sleep on the ground. But the fact that they stole a motorcycle and they're in abject poverty, starving to death, there's going to be some theft. Robin Hood stole from the rich to feed the poor. Nobody would want him to sleep on the ground with no bed for 5 years. Like, these people were serving out small sentences. They shouldn't be, like, under the very worst possible conditions while they're serving out their sentences, where they're separated from their families and their life is hell and they're not making money and they're losing years of their life. It's already bad enough without them also being freezing at night and not having a bed or blanket and not being able to brush their teeth or clean their bodies with soap. That's inhumane. And American prisoners have TV, comfortable beds and mattresses, sheets, blankets, pretty good food. They even get dessert with their food, for crying out loud. These guys just eat like beans every day for every meal. And they probably only get one meal a day. Like, it's way worse to be in prison there. So the fact that we were able to help them out, I think was great. Because they're getting like something so much worse than even the most evil, murdering, child trafficking, whatever people in America. They still get a bed, a comfortable bed, blankets. Even people on death row get all that stuff. Like, they get a steak dinner before they die. They get desserts with their meals. They eat 3 meals a day. Like, they get to work out, play basketball, have friends. It's nowhere near as bad as there. And these guys aren't even the hardcore criminals. They're just petty theft, whatever. Not having paperwork. It's like, goodness, these guys don't deserve to sleep on the ground because they didn't have their paperwork. In America, if they catch an illegal immigrant, they just put them on a bus and feed them meals on the way back home. There, you go to prison and you eat beans 1 meal a day for 5 years. That's horrible. Sleep on the ground with no bed. They don't even get grass to lay on. They literally lay on cement. And it's like 100 degrees in every building at night. So you're like, at night it was 90 degrees in the pastor's house. I know that. I was sweating at night. But they think it's cold sometimes. They're so weird. Their bodies. There were people, it was like 88 degrees outside, and they were wearing winter hats and coats. Because their body's used to like 110 degrees and sunny. And then they're comfortable. So weird.